lovely Saturday afternoon, and this time we're going to actually make something that we've made before and was just absolutely delicious and also very filling. So if you have a look down, we're going to actually use some of these tomatoes, some garlic and some onion, and we're going to make ourselves a tomato soup. First off, we're actually just cutting tomatoes in half. We don't have to worry about taking out the eyes. We can just put them in as is. And we're also slicing up whole bulbs of garlic like this, and we're just slicing them in half, and they're actually going into the tray as is as well. Don't need to peel. And I'm also putting in some onion as well. So there's a couple of kilos worth of tomatoes here, 3 bulbs, sorry, of garlic, and I'm doing 2 onions. So simply just cutting the onion in half, taking off front and back, and then quartering it as well. So off the front and back, and then we just peel off the excess skin. Just chuck it in just as is. So this whole lot is going to roast together and start caramelizing and blending flavors in with each other. The actual roasting of it really intensifies a whole lot of the flavors, so it actually really, I guess, juices up the flavor before you begin. On top of that, fresh thyme. We're just going to lay those sprigs straight on top. Just like this. Don't have to cut them. And of course, as with everything I do,
salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
His favourite thing to do.
So just generous amount of salt right on top of the tomatoes there, so that it sticks to the tomato. And just a little bit across here as well. And then the same thing with the pepper. Just backwards and forwards, give it a reasonable coating. Preset the oven to 220 degrees, and just on top of there, just a drizzle of olive oil, just until it's reasonably coated. And then that straight into the oven, 25 odd minutes until it's nice and caramelized. Alright, just pull this out of the oven. And you can see they're all quite nicely softened up, and there's some, you can see how sort of soft the onions become. So what we do next is essentially remove all the nasty stuff. So there's twigs and so forth from the thyme. They can all come out. We have had occasions where some of this has been left in after it gets blended. You actually do get little bits and pieces that you can't eat. And also you need to remove the garlic from its shell. So a bit of a squeeze. It can be a little bit hot. But it's all nice and juicy now and quite soft. So I'm just going to go through and get all the individual ones. So once I've done that, I'll come back to you. Okay, so that takes just a little bit of time. It wasn't too bad, just a minute or two. Can be a bit hot. Watch out for the juices that are on the bottom there. They can be quite hot as well. But yeah, we managed to get most of them out. Sometimes I used a knife just to dig some of them out of the big ones because they were being a little bit stubborn. But other than that, worked just fine. So now, when I find my tea towel, which is here, nice big heavy bottom pot. And we're going to attempt to get this all into the pot in one go. Juices and all. We don't need to add anything spicy or anything on, you know, we've already done the salt and pepper, so all of that should be nicely in there. Alright, take that out. And in with that, we're doing 2 litres of stock. You can do vegetable stock, you can do chicken stock. I'm actually doing a little bit of both. So this stuff is the Vegeta stock is I found the most flavourful, and I enjoy using that the most.
Have a look at the brand.
So that's that one there.
Perfect.
You can get that chicken oil, and there's 2 teaspoons of each, so 4 scoops of each.
Being that we couldn't find our teaspoon, we had to find half a teaspoon.
Oh yeah, beggars can't be choosers. Alright. You hear Jordan, she's having fun with her gaming.
Yeah.
Alright, then we just stir that up so it's all mixed in. Now, one of the big problems with this particular dish, and one of the things that actually is quite difficult when you're not eating as much as you would normally, because you're actually doing your shakes and your surgery, is that this just at the moment smells magnificent. And I don't like that it smells magnificent because I want to eat it now. I can't eat it now because I still got another 30 minutes in the pot here, and then we're going to blend it up and do it again for another 30 minutes. So that sucks. But the smells in this room are awesome. They are so good. It's killing me. What am I going to say? Anyway, I'm going to put it back on the stove and then we'll come back in about 30 minutes. Okay, that has been simmering away now for 30 minutes. Everything is really quite soft. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull that off and we're going to actually start blitzing it so that we can get rid of obviously all the chunks and stuff. So we'll take that over here. Now, of course, you're going to be blitzing it. You want to be very careful that you're not being too aggressive with it. Otherwise, you're going to end up splashing yourself with very, very hot liquid. Just take your time. Let me tell you now, the aromas that are coming out of this are absolutely phenomenal. It is just making me so incredibly hungry. So we've been doing this for about 5-6 minutes. You're just going to try and capture all the little bits and pieces. And once you do that, you'll have a nice, reasonably thick consistency to it, but it's still not ready yet. It's got to go back on for at least another 25 minutes, if not a little bit more, so that you can actually thicken it up and it can make a nice hearty meal. So I'm just going to run the spoon through it just to see, and there's no chunks of anything that I can see, but it is nice and thick, and it's actually looking really, really good. Better than the last one we did, so I'm pretty impressed with that. So back onto the stove again to a nice simmer, not boil, for around 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, so tomato soup's been simmering away now for 30 minutes and it looks very, very good. Actually, I had a quick taste test of it and it is sensational. What we do like to do with this particular dish is actually add a little bit of something to it, something that I would normally add probably some sort of meatballs or something along those lines, just to spice it up a bit. So because we can't have the meat at the moment, we can only have the vegetables. Well, this is what I'm using now, and that's the mushrooms. So, but I'm not going to do them like I did the mushroom steaks. I'm going to basically chop these up and then saute them in a fry pan, which I've got on the actual stove right now for that's heating up so that it's nice and hot. I'll actually chop that there. You want to make them nice bite-sized pizzas. So if I do that side. Alright, and then as per usual,
bit of salt.
Salt. Pepper. And just to put a bit of heat into these ones, I'm just going to do a couple of dashes over the top of Worcestershire sauce. If you're not hearing the sizzling, you're not doing it right. That's what she said. Alright, we'll just cook them down until they've reduced, and then we'll plate it up into a bowl.
And just see how we see how the tomato soup has reduced. That shows how much it's thickened up, and it's just beautiful. Now he's just showing off.
Okay, so that's pretty much only 2-3 minutes later, and that is ready to go. You want to take it off. You want it nice and brown on the outside, but you want to take it off before the water starts seeping out of it and it starts getting watery. And it's just into the bowl. Oh, smell that. That smells like steak pieces. Even though it's not steak pieces.
Mind over matter.
Okay, it's on here. Stir it around. Put one cup on top. Another one. Look at that. That's just awesome. Smells good. Tastes good. Feels good. It's mighty good. And then finally, sprinkle of chopped chives on the top.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's pretty easy. Takes a bit of time, and if you're actually on your shake diet, you're on a bariatric diet, it is quite irritating to have the smell for the whole afternoon, because you've got at least an hour and a half of wonderful aromas in the room and you're just dying to eat it. But it's well worth the wait, I can tell you that right now. What we're going to do with the excess soup here, we can either save that for another meal for a couple of days time, or we can actually strain it and make up little portions for it for after our surgery. So once it's strained, you've just got the liquid soup in there. You can actually have that as your post-surgery meals as well. So that's it for now. We're going to get into it. Thank you very much. If you're not on a bariatric diet or having to do what we're having to do now, I would highly recommend a baguette, sliced up, some garlic butter on it, toasted in the oven. Because
Stop talking.
That would be really, really good. But I'm going to stop now because I'm going to really want that. So, all right, that's it. Thanks very much.